Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to DTR. We're in round 10 of season 5. It's gone quick. But we're back again to see if Felix can defend his win from last week in Portugal after a penalty-ridden grid. He hung around and snuck the victory. So he's going for a back-to-back. We've got a full grid, which is nice to see. But we'll do the normal, jump on board with the first car out. I'll take you around the track and then we'll crack on and see how everyone's getting on. And I will continue to make a mess of setting this up, as I do every week. Oh, it's an Alpine out first, is it? Has TGL taken his crown back? He has. Right, let's hide all of this. So we're at Hungary today. Looks a bit gloomy out there. No sign of any rain yet, but we might get some in the race. And as we go through the session today, I will talk you through the championship. I've already said Felix won the last race. Managed to blag a win after other people's penalties. Against a difficult track, really. Portugal's not the easiest. I mean, I hate it. But some of the drivers in here love it. But it's really good to see a full grid in Division 3 today. And TGL is on his way around to start a lap. We're looking at around a 116, mid 115s for qualifying, I think. And here we are on the pit straight. Stuart makes his way over the line. The DRS wing is wide open and we're heading into turn 1, which is a long right-hander, which then turns downhill. You have to be careful on exit. If you clip that curb, you can just be gone. So you end up downhill and then it's a very long left-hander. And again, you have to carry as much speed through there as you can without overdoing it, and just be careful on the power because you will lose the back end again. And then we've got a very quick left-hander. You sort of snap into it. And he's already pulled out the lap, so I'm assuming he might have invalidated. So I need to bring up the menu. Who's the car behind him? It's an Alpha Tower. It's probably Bassett. It is Bassett. Come on in, Bassett. Show us a fast lap, mate. No invalidation, please. And this is where we left off with Stuart. So the fast left-hander, little tap of the brakes, let the car rotate through it, straight back on the power, and then we've got a long right-hand turn, which then you start to head back towards the pit straight. You've got a chicane here, which I can never get right. So Bassett's done a really good job of that. I have no idea how you take it, but long left, long right, 90-degree turns, another 90-degree turn, but it's a little bit longer, so you can carry more speed through it. Just a little dap off the accelerator around the right-hand turn, and then we're entering the final sector, and it's going to be a long hairpin, and then a little blast up the straight to another long hairpin, and then you're going to make your way back down the pit straight. So what is Bassett going to put up on the board as his first time of the day? It's a 117. That will get beaten, but that's a good marker. Guna puts in a 117.5, and then Alec goes in with a 117 as well. We will definitely get into the 60s today. I think if someone hooks it up enough, we'll see a 15 out there as well. So who shall we jump on board with? We've got one of the Aston Martins coming around, which is Kazingle. He's over the line, he's in 4th. Let's jump on board with his teammate who's just coming around sector 3. Felix, our champion from last week. Rika puts in a 17.8, Cav puts a 17.6 in. Evans up there in a 17.2, he's much improved towards the end of this season. So see if he can nick a podium today, that'd be good to see. But Felix comes over, puts his first lap in, puts himself in 3rd with a 17.1. Huss joins the board with an 18 flat. Altanshu also joins the board with a 19.6. And Kalitsos, whoa, Kazinga, what are you doing, boy? He's in the bin. The 70, as Stuart puts in a 16.7, so we're in the 16s already. Maggot does a 123. I assume that would have been a double warm-up lap. Yeah, his ERS is off, so let's watch him for a lap, shall we? So he's just starting through sector 1, making his way down the hill. Got some yellow flags. I wonder if that's Kazingle's still in the bin. He's just off on the left-hand side as we see Maggot go through. And he's just about to come up to the chicane. Taken neatly. I need to take some tips off these guys, I think. But again, just gets the car slowed down enough. You have to be really patient on the throttle, or the back end will just run away from you. You will lose it. And that's well taken there. That just to dab off the accelerator, let the car turn around and then floor it out. Now he's got these last two corners to find. Get some good rotation on entry. Is patient on exit. So this looks like a really good time. Let's see where it's going to put him. It ends up being a 1:17.1, enough for 4th place. So have we missed anything whilst that's been going on? I don't think we have. Maybe... Oh yeah, we saw Stuart. We didn't actually see him put it in, but we did see that he had put in a better time. Someone else has just gone up there. Is it Sheba? It's not Sheba. Someone else just clicked off. I can't figure out who it is. Oh, as Man Like Donkey goes off. Not doing a very good job of joining people and them keeping it on the track so far. Might have been Rob still actually with a 17.8. Don't think I saw him on the board earlier. Maybe it was him. But anyway, Charlie coming around the final couple of corners. Let's see what he can do as he makes his way over the line. Here he comes. Puts himself in 12th, 17.9. Man Like Donkey is still trying to get back round. Marshmallow is on an out lap. Let's join him. He's only halfway round the lap. Don't think there's anyone else really to join, because I think everyone else has just completed their hot lap, so we'll stick with Marshmallow. And hopefully he doesn't make me look stupid and go straight back in the pits. I'm sure he won't. He's a good guy, he wouldn't do me like that. So let's just watch it on board. Let's get rid of the menus. Watch the McLaren go flying around the track, and here he comes. So that ERS light should be turning off. Don't forget to turn it off, or are you going to go and warm your tyres up for another lap? Have you done me like that, Marshmallow? Have you? Let's see. Is your light still flashing? Yes, it is. So I'm assuming you're going around to warm your tyres up again. I hope that's the case, and you haven't just forgot to turn your ERS off. What's Alex doing? Is he on a lap? Looks like he might be. No, he's starting it now. So let's watch Alex then. So he comes around turn 1 with the soft tyres, the red stripe tyre, on his way down the hill. It's such a late braking zone. You've got to be gentle on the brakes and on the throttle on the way out. The elevation change can catch you out, but let's see how he tackles this fast corner. Yeah, really good. Just lift off the power, let the car turn in, and then once you're over the curb, floor it. And let's see how he gets on with the chicane. Yeah, it's been really neat and tidy through there today. Not just Alex, but everyone we've seen. And I think the camera angles today are going to be a bit of a nightmare because it's quite a tight track. So we'll keep an eye on that. Might have to do a little bit more on board than off board. As Alex makes his way down, I suppose you could call it a back straight. There's not many long straights down this track, just the pit straight really. And it's not a long lap. Like I say, qualifying is going to be about a 1:16 roughly. As Alex is about to make his way over the line, he reckons he's 4/10 down. Let's see how he gets on as he crosses the line. He goes pole with a 16.3. Great lap from Alex. And one thing to say about Alex is he has qualified well all year. He's just got to piece it together in the race and stay out of trouble. He's just prone to that odd mistake. Let's see if he can hold on today. Guna with a 16.9, so he's broken the 17 barrier. We've got Bassett on his way out, Maggot on his way out, Felix on his way out. Let's have a look at Evan actually, because he's been improving recent weeks. Let's see what he can do and if he can break that 17. Looks like he's on a hot lap because his ERS light is not flashing. He's just in a purple second sector. As long as the gate isn't lying to me, it seems to like doing that. But Evans definitely picked up the pace in recent weeks. So let's see if he can go and chuck it on provisional pole. He's coming around the last corner. Just struggles to get the car turned in, but it gets it there. And here we go. He's into the 16s. It's a 16.6 and it's enough for second as Marshmallow does do his hot lap and puts it in second with a 16.6. So Evan and Marshmallow coming over at the same time, both improving. Enough for the top three for both of them so far. No one's been able to beat Alex's 16.3. That looks a long way off for everyone else. But there's plenty of people out in this field that can go and do it. As we see Maggot on his way down the hill. Looks like he's pushing. What's Maggot got? He's a one of the title contenders. He's been really solid this season. A few mistakes early on in the season, but has just come to life. He's definitely got the pedigree to win this championship. So let's keep an eye on him for now. Oh, and that was brilliantly taken. You could just hear him sort of dip down into the next gear and hold off on the accelerator and boot it out. And it's just about keeping the weight transfer in the car as balanced as you can to get back on the power. And he just looks really neat and tidy, and he's going to come over the line here. He's going to improve, I'm sure he is, just from what I've seen. He does. It's a 16.6. It's enough for third. The two Ferraris currently third and fourth, so looking good from a constructor's point of view for them. I don't think Bassett is on a lap. Is Felix on a lap? I think he's probably just about starting one. So I'd say he's better than a 134. So let's jump on with Felix. We've got 6 minutes of the session left. We've got a car coming out the pits. Please move. Thank you. And Felix then runs wide. So hasn't invalidated. I'm assuming he's pulled out though, is he? He hasn't. Interesting choice if he carries on with that, because I think he'd have lost a lot of time in the first sector. Yeah, I think he's pulled out now. Let's have a look. Still not turned his ERS off. I'm going to jump on board with someone else because he's not going to improve. Let's look at his teammate. No, he's flashing, so he's warming up his tyres. Bassett's on his way round. He's the one that should be up there come the end of the day. So let's have a look and see what he can post on his second, maybe his last run. It's a quick lap, so he'll do well to get round, post his lap, get in, out, and post a lap again. So this could be his last run. We might do 2 runs on these soft tyres, who knows. Anyway, let's see what he can do. Let's get rid of the menus. He's on his way down the hill. And that's well taken. A little bit cautious on the throttle, but you have to be. Let's see how he takes the chicane. Yeah, nice. Hits both apexes. Carries good momentum through these corners, and again he's just good at shifting the weight of the car, keeps the car balanced. You can see slightly different tactic to Maggot. Doesn't drop it down a gear, but he keeps the momentum going. So both techniques are perfectly fine. And just runs it a little bit wide, but brings the car back in. Let's see where he's going to end up as Rishi puts a 16.1 in. Welcome to the race, Rishi. As Bassett improves to a 16.5 and puts himself third for now. So who else have we got out on track? We've got Robsu, who's on an invalid lap. Arthanshu, are you... No, you're flashing. We've got Huss, where are you? Getting out of the way at turn 1. I don't think we've got anyone to watch currently. I wonder if Robsu will have another crack. Oh, what am I doing with these menus? Let's see if he will have another crack at it. I'm going to have a quick look at his telemetry. Yeah, I can't imagine he's going to go straight back out. I assume he's going to pull into the pits. Fanshu is on a lap, so let's join him. One of the Ferraris just on his way out for another out lap. Maggot by the look of it. So pretty cautious out of turn 1. Again, it's so easy to get turn 1 wrong, so I don't blame any of the drivers for doing that. So on his way down the hill through sector 1, coming into this fast left-hand corner. It's going to be a great camera angle for this. Because again, he just takes enough curb there, carries plenty of momentum through, holds the apex, draws it out wide. Now comes through the chicane, takes a tiny bit of the inside curb, but not enough to to worry anyone. And you just got to be careful of not clipping your wheel into that grey part of that curb right on the inside, because it does fling your car around. But yeah, done a really good job of avoiding that, but using enough curb. And we've got a purple second sector. He's 3/10 up on his time. Where is he currently? He is 14th. So projected P8 at the minute, based on the improvements we think we're seeing. So here he comes round in the last corner again, carrying good momentum round. 5th gear, floor it to the finish. It's going to be in the 16s. It's a 16.7. It's 4.5 tenths up. So he's up to 7th. So Stuart is on his way out the pits now. So if you're going to do one more run, you need to be coming out any second now, really. Any later, and you may not make it round, because you will have to get out of the way of a few people. Anyone else on a fast lap currently? Is Maggot on one? I think he is. We have watched him, so maybe we can watch Alex quickly. I think we watched him for a little bit, but as he improves, no, he doesn't. The timing sheet is lying to me. Is there anyone out there that we haven't watched so far? Not that's probably going to challenge for pole position, I don't think. So let's join Maggot. I think he's the first of the front runners, and he's a 10th up on his time. So that could get him into 4th. He's going to need to see a bit more than that, though. Again, just a little bit cautious through there. So you just hear the drop in gear that he likes to take. Got some traffic up ahead, so hopefully they're about to shift out of the way. But again, he's just missed the apex, and Rishi gets out of the way very nicely. And there's a Red Bull diving out of the way. And here comes Maggot now. Is it enough to improve? I think he's just washed out on a few corners. I'm not sure how much the improvement will be, but let's see. He's going to cross the line now. It's a 16.2. It is a massive improvement. So there's other corners he's improved in. It's a 16.2. I think he could have got pole today. I think there was a couple of slight mistakes in there, so but it's a good lap. And he's put himself right at the top, right in the mixer. TGL Stuart has definitely got the ability. We haven't watched him today. He's got the ability to take pole position. Let's see what he can do. He's on his way through turn 1. No, let's keep the menus up, because we're going to see cars coming round. We won't be on board with them all setting their pole laps, so let's keep an eye on Stuart for now. But there's people in front of him. He's 2 tenths up already, so that projects him up to P5 if he carries that improvement on. But I'm sure he's got more time to gain here as he comes up to the chicane. Just takes a little bit of both curves. Not sure if that's a bad thing. It didn't look like it unsettled the car, so perfectly fine. Didn't quite use all the track on exit there, but looking really good through this section. He's nailed every curve there, so, and he's still about 2 tenths up, so just misses the apex. Again, we'll have to see how much he has to make up in this 3rd sector, but again, just a couple of mistakes, but he's going to improve on his time. Let's see where he ends up. He's coming round now, and he will be under the checkered flag after this. It moves up to 7th. So Bassett, where are you? He's on his way around sector 3. Got a car in front of him. He pulls over. Maggot's in the pit, so he won't improve. Alex is still out there. He can still improve. Rishi can still improve. So I think he's just, well, there's a massive train of cars behind Bassett. So anyway, let's concentrate on him for now. He's coming around the final bend, and he's flooring it to the end. I think he might be improving. How much by? It's enough for second. It's a 16.2. Who else have we got? Because Zingle's probably the only man left that can improve. He's coming round. It doesn't look like an improvement on his timesheet, but it's 2 tenths, but it's not enough for the top 10. So he'll be disappointed. Rishi will not improve on his time. He didn't need to. It's a 16.1, so a solid lap from Rishi. Takes pole. And as a reserve driver, he is full of quality. He could definitely go on and win this race. Wouldn't be surprised to see him on the hard tyres at the start. He likes an alternate strategy. We've then got Bassett, Maggot in behind them. Marshmallow in 4th, Alex in 5th, Evan 6th, Stuart in 7th, Gunnar in 8th, Athanshu in 9th, Robsu in 10th. Then we've got the 2 Aston Martins, the Felix and Kazingle. Be disappointed after their really strong performance in Portugal. Sheba in 13th, Cav 14th, Charlie in 15th, Rika 16, Huss 17. And I'll just finish that off now for you. Rika 16th, Huss in 17th, Kalitsos in 18th, Man Like Donkey 19th, and Nicky Lauda in 20th. Didn't set a time, so not sure if that's a quali ban or if he just wants a ton of soft tyres for the race. Who knows? But anyway, Rishi, well done. Puts it on pole, 16.1, a tenth quicker than the next nearest car, which was Bassett. Maggott looking to push on in this championship, so it's going to be an interesting race. So while we wait, just to cover off the results from last week, Felix took his first win of the season at Portugal. Nicky Lauda came in second after a great recovery drive. I don't think that means that Nicky Lauda has a quali ban from memory, but he must just be saving some softs, maybe. I'm not sure. Maggott came third. He got a podium. It was then Evan in fourth, much improved, like I say. We had Huss in fifth, Athanshu in sixth, Rishi in seventh. After he made a bit of a hash of the race, to be honest, I think he'll be the first one to admit that. Got a drive-through penalty from memory. And then Kazingal in eighth again, made a hash of it. He was up in well, I think he was leading the race at one point, but penalties just cost him too much. The late safety car ended any chance of a victory. We've then got Man Like Donkey finished ninth, and then the top 10 was completed by Guna. Again, I think he had a bit of a mare in Portugal, but to be honest, who doesn't? Not a massive fan of the track myself. Not because it's a bad track, just traction is tough, and yeah, I'm rubbish at it. So here they come. Glorious sunshine. It looks hotter than it did in qualifying anyway, so surely no rain for the day. Rishi will lead them in the Haas. Charlie's been disqualified already. What's gone on there? Just seems to be sat on the grid. Oh no, I don't think he was sat on the grid when that happened though. No idea, but his tyres are going to be a fridge by the time these guys get round. As now Sheba and Cav also go back to the grid, so Rika and Huss not the strongest in qualifying towards the back end of this season, but you can guarantee that Rika will find a strategy to find himself in the top 10 by the end of the race. And as long as Huss doesn't make any mistakes, he's definitely got the quality to be up there as well. Thought he was looking like a championship winner after the first couple of races, but seems to have dropped off a little bit. Should we have a quick look at tyre choices? I think you will see Rishi on the hard tyres. You do. Bassett, Maggott, Marshmallow, Alex, Evan want the quicker start. They're on the mediums. TGL Stewart loves an alternate strategy. Guna's gone for the alternate today. Arthansu on the mediums, Robsu mediums. Both the Astons, interestingly, on the hard tyre. So they're not splitting their strategy. Then the back of the grid all looks like it's on mediums other than Huss. He likes an alternate strategy. Man Like Donkey also on the hards. Everyone else on the mediums. So they're on the way back to the grid. It looks like Rishi's put himself in the bin. Good. I mean, if you're going to make a mistake, get out of the way now, right? No, he's got to make his way all the way down to the front. He's got to do the drive of shame. And he's going to point himself in towards turn 1 to try and cover off Bassett. He's got the harder tyres. It's going to be a nightmare for him to get away, but we'll stay on this camera angle to see the lights. We'll jump on with Rishi. We've got 5 lights. We're waiting for them to go, and they're away. So here goes Rishi. Bassett off to a flying start. Look at him. He's gone. He's already into the lead. And it looks like an Alpine's just been pushed out onto the grass there. Better camera angle now. So Rishi sweeps around the outside. He'll just try and maintain that second place, which he does. Let's just have a little look backwards. It looks like everyone's got through nice and clean. A couple of scraps a bit further down for places. The two Aston Martins just trying to make sure they don't lose out on any places. I think they've actually gained one, the pair of them. So... And you can see that Felix is just trying to warm his tyres up. They've actually switched round. I think Felix was Felix was the car that was in front, but Kazingle's now gone through and we've lost someone. That's not Alex, is it? It is Alex. Oh, Alex, what are you doing, man? You can't even say it's me jinxing you. You can't say that. But Bassett is flying away. He's made the second gap already. Rishi in second. He won't mind too much. He's on the alternate strategy, so he just needs to keep his head on as TGL Stewart lets his teammate by. Are they on different compounds of tyres? I assume so. Let's just check that. I think they are. We know Stewart's on the hard. They are. So he's going to let Robsu go. So Bassett off to a flyer. We've then got Maggot in behind in third. So pretty much as you started. Then got Marshmallow, and then the two Alpines have done ever so well. They're up to 5th and 6th. Robsu has, we saw him take the place off Stewart, so he can crack on, and Stewart will just hold up the rest of the field and try and make Robsu's strategy work for him. Then got Evan in 7th. Kazingle's up to 8th. He's through on Guna, so must have done that down the pit straight. Guna's in 9th. Felix 10th. Rikas looks like he's made up a few places in that bottom half. As we've got Maggot, no! Oh, and he's been careful about returning to track, but that is horrible. He's going to be at the back of the grid by the time he manages to return here. And he's lost it on that fast left-hand corner. If you get on the throttle too early, that is what can happen. But it's getting a bit spaced out up front now. We've got Bassett, who's 1.2 seconds clear of Rishi, who's now a second clear of Marshmallow. And then Robsu is just about sticking to the back of that DRS zone of Marshmallow. And his teammate is now a second back, so he's actually got a gap of over a second to Evan. So I think this is a clever race from the Alpines. I think Stewart's just going to run his own race, let Robsu drive off a little bit, and he'll create a nice little gap for Robsu to filter out into later in the race. Marshmallow's just about dropped back into that 1 second range. But Rishi, again, remember, is on the hard tyres, so if he can stick around about second and a half from Bassett, he'll be really happy with that, because he will come to life later in the race. And you would say he currently has the race under control. Robsu runs a little bit wide there, and he's hit the sausage curb. That's so dangerous on there. And he's not out. I think he's just hit a bit of polystyrene. He's just going to have to find a way to turn around. He's going to have to wait. So this track is very tricky. So he will have to try and turn back round. It's no effect on Bassett, who's out in front. Massive gap now back to Stewart, who's in 4th. We've got a 2.5 second gap. Robsu's finally managed to turn around and get going again. So Kazingle is on the move. Let's see if he can try and catch up to Evan, who's at 9/10 up the road. Again, this is another track that you find that your ERS is quite difficult to recharge. So you've got to use it sparingly. Bank as much as you can and try and take it on a bit later. But he could do with Felix cracking on and putting a bit of pressure on Guna. And then just gives them the safety net and being able to move around as and when they need to. But so the top 3 have just closed in a little bit. Bassett, don't know if he's made a mistake, but he's only 8/10 ahead of Rishi now. Maybe Rishi's just got those hard tyres fired up, but Marshmallow is also on his tail. And then Stewart just looks like he's dropping back ever so slightly as we've got Robsu round again in the penultimate corner. Must be struggling with boiling hot tyres, which is really is a big talking point around here actually. You have to run minimum tyre pressures, because if you go any higher than that, you start to see that the tyres go over 100 degrees, and that's where you lose grip. And suddenly you see the sort of thing that's happening to Robsu there, where you just can't keep the car on the track. So Robsu, if you're listening, check your tyre temperatures, make sure that's not causing you a problem, as I think we've got Sheba round in sector 2. But anyway, Stewart here seems to be on his own, so we're just going to jump up with these 3, and here we go. Here comes the DRS train a little bit, and this is the importance of these 3 staying in touch with each other. They're going to lose Stewart very, very quickly if they can keep this DRS train going. because as Rob Sue is round again, I think just before where he went off the first time we was on board with him, but yeah, I think they're going to drop TGL quite quickly if they keep dragging themselves around the track, as Rishi makes a move on Bassett down the hill. Wasn't quite on board with him. Sorry, Rishi missed that move, but we saw the exit of it, so obviously got a really good exit. We've got Rob Sue just further up the road, who's having a few problems. We'll stick on board with Marshmallow because we can see what the action in front. But Rob Sue just needs to be careful he doesn't get in the way of this, and I don't think he will. A bit more sensible than that. But 2/10 now. Marshmallow is back from Bassett, and he's got a good run on Bassett here. Is he going to make a move into this last course? Penultimate corner, he's not. He pulls out of it. But they really don't want to let Rishi go away, as we've now got Rob Sue 10-second penalty for... Oh, and Marshmallow's gone round. Oh, he's going to have to be careful as all these cars start filtering round. Let's join Bassett because he's going to get some DRS help now. As Kazingle is just naturally moving up the field. Gunnar moving up. Felix moving up because of these mistakes that are being made. So easy to do around here. But Bassett's now got a job to do of just hanging on to the back of Rishi. And I wonder if these hard tyres are just a bit more durable here. And I wonder if the mediums have actually just died off a little bit. And if that's the case, then Rishi might do well just to keep going on these hard tyres as long as possible. As they potentially are the tyre of choice. Got Kazingle 8/10 back from Evan. So got a little bit of work to do to try and just close that gap up, ready for the DRS zone. Gunnar's in behind him, 7/10 away, and Felix is starting to lose track of Gunnar. I wonder if that's because he's defending from our Thansu a little bit. But Felix could do with just pushing on a little bit and trying to squeeze a little bit of pressure on Gunnar to keep the pressure off his teammate. Just why Kazingle tries to close in on Evan, really. Okay, so whilst we wait for a little bit of action to happen, as I think this is probably the closest battle on track, we've got a couple of Liverpool fans. For some reason they decided to support Liverpool. I feel sorry for them, but they are 2-1 up against Real Madrid. We've got a Nunez goal, a Salah goal. They went 2-0 up, and then Vinicius Junior's got one back in the 21st minute. Currently in the 30th minute. Frankfurt Napoli, if anyone's interested, still 0-0. Anyway, back to the racing. This is not a football stream. We have lost the Williams again of Sheba, I think, causing some yellow flags. But you can just see that gap sort of stabilised itself now. Stewart doesn't seem to be losing any more than a tenth, really, and he sort of seems to be gaining that back. So be interesting to see that gap later on in the race. I think Stewart tends to like to run straight line speed, so you might find that through these windy sectors that he's a little bit slower, but then he pulls it all back on the straight because he can just blast it down the home straight, and a bit of DRS will help him. But Bassett's keeping within touching distance of Rishi, 6/10 back. We've got Kazingle really closing in on Evan now. Let's jump on board with him. 4/10 back. And they're coming around into Sector 3 as Gunnar is closing up on Kazingle as well. So I wonder if Evan's just causing a bit of a train to happen behind him, because Felix is starting to come back into this now. So got about 5 cars in a row that are going to be all fighting for that 4th position. So Kazingle will want to get this done as quickly as possible because he can use Evan as a bit of a blocker later on, and he is getting close. Is he close enough into the first corner? He's not. And actually I think all 3 of these drivers, Kazingle, Gunnar and Felix, are all on the hard tyre. And Rika, look at him, he's made his way up into the top 10. He's in 9th. I told you he'd find a way to get up there. And generally what he does is takes advantage of safety cars. He'll come in one stop, he'll do his mandatory pit stop, and then he will stay out as long as possible and pick up as many points as he can by getting track position. So a bit early, if we did get a safety car now, way too early for the hard tyres to change. The medium tyres could come in. I think it would be difficult to make a medium soft work, but you're not going to get a new set of mediums all the way to the end if you came in. So a bit early for both strategies, really. Shiba makes his way back up into 18th past Nicky Lauda. Nicky Lauda seems to be struggling with this track. He's in the pits. Not sure what's happened to him. Didn't actually see Robsu DNF. I wonder if that happened because of the penalties. Not sure. But he is the only driver today not to finish the race so far. And it's turning out to be a little bit of a DRS train. We haven't got anyone really close enough to make any moves. And I think these hard tyres are starting to get to a point where they're going to be better off. Like Stewart, you can just see is breaking back into that 3-second barrier from the 2 in front. And they're definitely not fighting because there's a second gap between them. So I wonder if these hard tyres are just finding the extra bit of pace now. And if that's the case, Kazingle's going to want to crack on. It's difficult to say where he sort of needs to make the time up, to be honest. But he's keeping it neat and tidy through this this windy sector 2. So just got to keep concentration. We've got a yellow. Oh, that's Stewart. As I said, he was closing in the gap. He's lost it, and I think what he's probably done there is, as I was saying, those grey bits of that curb, if you hook your wheel into that, then you're gone. And I think that's what's happened to Stewart, and he's got to wait to return. But Kazingle looks the closest he's been all race, and I think he's going to have an attack here. It makes sense. Yes, he's close enough. He's got the ERS on, and away he goes, and that's going to be an easy pass into turn 1. He's got the inside line. He's a car length ahead, and through he goes. Is Evan going to have a dig back? He's not. Kazingle does get a second helping of DRS down the hill, so that's Kazingle job done. I think there's nowhere really good to overtake for the rest of the lap, to be honest. So Kazingle's through. He's up into the podium places, and now if he can get his head down and just keep hooking up every single corner, Evan might just provide a rear gunner effect for him to just open up enough of a gap to Gunnar. And ideally what he would like now is Felix to push on a bit harder, get on the back of Gunnar, start fighting, and if they can fight, that will just give Kazingle all the help he needs to drive off into the distance. And, very cautious through sector 2 there from Felix, from what I've seen of it. But he is within 5/10 of Gunnar, so he's doing well enough to try and catch up here. As we've got some more yellow flags down in sector 1. I think that's Charlie, just behind Maggot, but you can see that Felix just dropped back a little bit on the exit, but he's got enough straight line speed here. He's not going to be close enough. He's just going to fake Gunnar into it, but Gunnar's far too wise to fall for that. We've got Arthanshu behind him. Not quite close enough either. So 4-way fight. Rika wants to try and get involved. He's closing the gap every corner. These two look like they're ever closer now. These hard tyres are looking like they're coming into their own now. You can see that Evan has dropped a second back from Kazingle. Kazingle's 4.5 seconds behind Bassett, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that gap and see if he's closing in on those front two. We've got some more yellow flags. It's a McLaren. I assume that's Marshmallow because he hasn't lost any places. I think Arthanshu, yeah, we can see him on screen, so it's definitely Marshmallow. So Felix making his way back into sector 3 and is carrying lovely speed through some of these corners here. He's just got to find a way to be doing it through the last corner so that he can really push on down this pit straight. And look, that's much better. He's right on the gearbox of Gunnar. Gunnar's going to get a better exit because he can put the power down first, but Felix looking on the attack. He's going to get this done on Gunnar. He's going to try the outside. They're wheel to wheel as they go round turn 1. They've left themselves enough room. Gunnar does push out wide, but cannot defend the place. Let's jump back to Gunnar because he's under pressure for Anthansu, but that's really important for Felix and for Kazingle in my opinion. So Felix up to 5th. We saw Kazingle a couple of laps get through into 3rd, so Felix will now want to get down the road and have a look at Evan. who's now a second and a half back from Kazingal. Kazingal has taken a second out of those front two. So two things got to be on his mind here is one, build as much gap from the car behind. Don't burn your tyres out too quickly. But just keep it neat and tidy really is the message. I think if you do that, you're reeling in the front two quick enough. As Rishi's really broken free a little bit, to be honest. So I wonder if Bassett's just struggling a little bit. He's on the medium tyres, so I think that makes it very, very clear that the hard tyres are the choice right now. With the medium tyres dropping off, they've had what, 13 coming up to 14 laps on the medium. So that's the cut-off point for those hard runners. They've got to be thinking lap 21 for the pit stop, I would say. As you can see, Rika's the first one in, which is not a surprise. He'll be hoping for a safety car a little bit later, and his strategy will just that will play into his hands big time. But Felix not really making a huge impression on Evan. Guna's sort of keeping up with him really. So what these two don't want to do is keep scrapping, because they're just never going to catch Evan if they do that. They should be on the quicker tyre right now. But we'll see. Got some more yellow flags. That looks like a Haas. That must be Kalitsos. Not too damaging. Doesn't lose a place, but loses quite a bit of time. And that's Huss that's behind him in 10th. See if Huss can take advantage of that mistake, and he's right up behind him. This can be an overtaking spot if you get it right, but looks like Kalitsos has done a good job of keeping Huss behind him as he chucks in and moves down the inside, but doesn't quite get close enough, which lucky to avoid contact there really. But Felix is gaining. No, not going to be close enough on Evan. Sheba picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Felix not close enough. Guna is a little bit further back. See, they just get the second help in the DRS down their hill. Arthanshu is still 4/10 back, and this race is really becoming about this DRS train. We've got some more yellow flags. It's a Red Bull, probably Nicky Lauda. But there's quite a lot of spacing out the rest of the field really. 4 seconds back to Cav, 4 seconds to Kalitsos. Then we've got, so Huss was having a little dig at Kalitsos, but he's starting to drop back. We've then got 4 seconds to Man Like Donkey, 3 seconds to Marshmallow, 2 seconds to TGL, who's still on those hard tyres. Alex, who had an unfortunate incident at the start of the race. We have got an Alpha Tauri round. Is that Charlie? Yeah, it is. Trying to get himself back in. He's on the racing line, so he tries to get off it. Does well enough. Who is it coming around that section? It's not the leader, so it looks like the train that we were just going through, to be honest. But let's have a look at Felix. He's on his way round to this final corner. Again, needs a good exit out of here. Get the ERS on and see if he can get the move done. He is attacking, so how is he going to get on? He's not got Guna to worry about behind him. He is going to be side by side. He's going down the inside this time, and he's got a car length. Looks like he's done exactly what Kazingal did. Kazingal will be loving the sight of Felix coming through there, because now he has got a moving roadblock. So Kazingal with a 2-second advantage to Felix, who is heading up a train of Evan, Guna, Athanshu. Guna's now right on the back of Evan, so that overtake has sparked in a bit of interest from the two behind as Alex moves past his teammate Cav. So the two Aston Martins, after looking pretty poor in qualifying in reality, are now up there 3rd and 4th. And what would be interesting now is if Felix can drive away from Evan. And if he can drive away from Evan, then those two, as long as they keep mistake free, will be looking for another good Aston Martin finish. And Guna is going to be getting ever impatient here. I mean, he's got a cool head, so he's not going to do anything silly. But he's going to be frustrated, and Arthanshu's starting to try and put on a bit of pressure as well. So so Guna looks like he's just trying to sit in. Arthanshu's going to have a little run at him here. Gunnar hasn't completely covered it off, doesn't feel like he needs to, and Alfonso just letting Gunnar know he's there. He didn't hit him, but he's pretty much sniffing his exhaust pipes. As Kazingal now starting to reel in Bassett pretty quickly. Those medium tyres must be really struggling now. And it'd be interesting to know whether they're going to go medium hard. I did say that those medium tyres looked, after 14 laps, just seemed to drop off a cliff. So we've only got really 5 more laps for the hard tyres to then start saying, well, I mean, I can put the mediums on now. So those medium runners, surely they've got to be coming in soon. But if you're on the hards, if you feel comfortable on them, I think you take them as long as you possibly can. But Kazingal is getting into that second range. If he can clip off another couple of attempts just in these last corners, he might even get it on this lap. But again, he's just got to stay neat and tidy, no mistakes. All you can see his back end wanted to go there, but he kept it in. And as I said, Bassett is now in the pits, so this is going to be the window for those medium runners to come in. So this is a very good time for Kazingal to start pushing, because we know that Bassett's going to have to come out onto cold tyres. So he's going to be pretty quick at the after a couple of laps. So Kazingal wants to try and build up that momentum now, and then Felix and Kazingal are probably far enough away from each other, which means that they could double stack on the same lap if they wanted. So they've got plenty of choices. Gunnar's now got past Evan because Evan's decided to pit, so that roadblock's gone. But you can see the damage it's done to him. He's now 2 seconds back from Felix. But I think Gunnar's got a lot of natural pace. He will probably be able to close that up. But again, they're just going to be looking to eke out these hard tyres as long as possible. And I think that's the group we've got at the top of this pack now. Huss was also on the hard tyres. He's 10 seconds further back from that pack. And then we've got Man Like Donkey. Bassett is the first car that's pitted, as Gunnar's got a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. And I think is that Gunnar that's gone off? It is. Oh, Gunnar. What's he done? I think something must have happened to his wheel here, because he's decided to not get back on track. And you can see his car's turning into the barrier, so not sure what's happened there for him, but he's staying out of the way, which is good from him. Horrible to see him down there. He was having a good race. It promotes Huss up into 4th, and this alternate strategy could be looking good for him. And I tell you what, some of these hard runners, if they got a safety car now, they would be loving life. And I don't think Gunnar's made his way back on the track yet. No, he's beached. So I wonder if he is having trouble with his wheel, because he didn't look comfortable there. But Gunnar has been disqualified. I don't think it's brought out a safety car or anything, but no, it hasn't. But something's happened to his wheel, I think. It looked like he was struggling to get the car back on track. So unfortunate for him, but that means that Felix now has a lot of fresh air behind him, but he's dropping back from his teammate. I think what Kazingal will want is Felix to somehow jump Bassett in these pit stops, but you know that Bassett's going to be quick, because those hard tyres will just about warm up at the point where they're going to come in. So, but you can't jump into the pit too early. You know those mediums die off, so you've just got to keep going for now. I think if you can stretch this to lap 22, 23, I think that's probably a comfortable place. You are still going to be a little bit slow on those mediums towards the end, but it's enough that you've got the best life out of them, as long as these hards still feel comfortable to the drivers. So not a lot happening up front. We've got Huss just coming down onto the pit straight now. He's 13 seconds back from those front 3, but these front 4 are the ones that haven't pitted yet. Bassett looks like he's closing him down, and in fact, let's just... Oh, Stewart is making a move on Man Like Donkey. He's also on the hard tyres, remember. I don't think he's pitted, but he did make a mistake earlier in the race, which is why he's back here. And Rika has also pitted. So actually, there's only 2 cars between him and TGL Stewart, and he's back out in front of Evan. So that early pit stop has done Rika the world of good. So they tell you at the start of this, he will find a way to get himself into that top 10. And he'll do it through strategy. As Alex comes into the pit, Matt gets up to 14th after an early mistake, so he's trying to make a bit of a recovery. And Charlie finds himself a lap down, I think. And in fact, just talking to Charlie, he's one of the unfortunate Liverpool fans. I think he wants an update. And Real Madrid have equalised. It's 2-2 half-time. Vinicius Jr. again. And Napoli have taken the lead, and they've missed a penalty. They're 1-0 up against Frankfurt. So that's your football update. I think Kazinga will be interested in League One. No promotion candidates in there. So no one cares. Cool, nothing to report on there. So let's get back to the racing. We've got Arthanshu, who's 4/10 back from Evan. We saw that they were, well, he was the back of that little train we were watching earlier in the race. And TJ Stewart's the first one to pit on those hard tyres. So he's decided that 15 laps on those mediums is good enough. And now Arthanshu's now making a move. This seems to be a popular overtaking spot, and it makes sense. Down into turn 1. So he gets the job done on Evan. TJ Stewart's been overtaken from the pits, so we're not missing anything further back. So Arthanshu's through, he's up into 8th. Really impressed with Rika. He seems to get strategy right here. He probably will be a little bit slow towards the end of this race unless there's a safety car and he can preserve those tyres. Came in very early, but again, he just finds ways to manoeuvre his way up the track and doesn't really have to put himself in too much danger by doing it. Bassett really closing in on Huss now, as that was a car off the track. I think it's Charlie getting out of the way. Rishi is in the pits. So Rishi's in. Bassett, let's jump on board with him because he's the first car that's pitted, and that is Felix that's followed him. Kazingal stays out. So can Kazingal do the overcut? Where is Bassett going to come out in comparison to Rishi? He was a few seconds behind him from memory, as Rishi is making a move down to the back of the pits, but I think Bassett might do this. It's going to be close, but I think Rishi's just about to pit. Oh no, he's a long way down there. Rishi's comfortably got it then, but that does mean that he is ahead of Felix. Where's Felix coming out? He's on his way out now. Rika's jumped Felix, so that's huge. Is Kazingal going to jump Rika is the question, and if he does, that means he filters out into provisional 3rd. So, yeah, the undercut seems to be working. But what these drivers just need to keep in mind, as Alex puts in the fastest lap of the race on the hard tyres, what these drivers need to keep in mind is that the tyres will become a little bit worn later on in the race. So, yes, it might feel like they're ahead now, but Kazingal, if he pits now, will be quite quick when he first joins out. So here he comes. He is on his way in. So I think Bassett is the man to watch / Rika. I don't think Kazingal's going to get out in front of Bassett here. I think Rika's the man to watch. He's coming round into the 3rd from last corner. Kazingal's in his pit box now. Where's Bassett? Bassett's just round in the last corner. So I think Bassett gets him. I don't think Rika will. As we can see, a couple of other cars diving in the pits now. So Kazingal's on his way out, and he is going to be close with Bassett, I think. Look, Kazingal has jumped him. Great strategy from Kazingal, and now he's on the medium tyres. He's going to have a good chance to defend this. He's got a lap to warm his tyres up, because I don't think Bassett's going to find too many places to really get round him, but Kazingal just needs to make sure doesn't do anything silly on those colder tyres. And if he can keep Bassett behind him for now, he's going to find some pace any second. So great strategy from Kazingal. Now he's just got to make them last 13 laps, so doesn't want to drive the absolute skin off them, just needs to try and keep them nice and intact. So yeah, great strategy from Kazingal. That spiced up the race a little bit. And Rishi is 3 seconds down the road, so he's done a really good job of just cracking on, but he's also on the medium tyres, so that just shows you the difference really. Rishi's really been able to get his head down and get on with it. So Kazingal, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him start to pull away. He's going to have a lot more grip through some of these corners. He just has to break that second barrier probably on this next lap. He's not going to do it now, but this is going to be a really important part of the lap, and he's pulled a second already. He will still get DRS because the activation zone would have been a bit further back. So Kazingal's in a really good place here to try and pull something out on Bassett, as we've got Felix making the attack on Rika, and he takes his 4th place back to try and hang it round the outside. Rika nice and controlled on the inside. Let's see them as they come down the hill. Felix just with his nose ahead and gets the job done. He's up into 4th. Again, he's on those medium tyres. Rika came in quite a few laps ago now onto those hard tyres. So we do know that it won't be long before the medium tyres drop off. But Felix just needs to crack on now. And you can see that Kazingel's pulling away from Bassett. The extra grip he's getting out of these corners is just really helping him. And he's got to try and take advantage of that now whilst he's got the grip. But without driving the absolute skin off them, because Bassett will come back later in the race. So tyre management game for those guys now. Rika dropping already a second back from Felix, so you can just see how much those medium tyres are working. What will be interesting to see is can Felix close the gap on Bassett, because they're on opposite tyres. Arthanciu is looking like he's going to start putting some pressure on Rika any moment. He's been quite quick on these hard tyres. Rika, we know he loves to use his ERS. See his light's been flashing. I assume it'll be flashing again by the end of this straight. Didn't even need to make it to the end of the straight. It's flashing now. So Arthanciu is going to look to try and get past Rika probably on the next lap. He just needs to keep as close as possible. I think if you're within 7/10, that can give you a chance. As Shiva picks up another 3-second penalty. And then looking a bit further down the field, there's not really a lot to talk about. Alex is within a second of a man like Donkey, but he's down in 14th. So not going to be too much action for the next few laps. So we'll stick with Arthanciu and see what he can do with Rika. See if he can dispatch him down into turn 1. But Rika's done an incredible job. He started down in, I think it was like 14th, 15th. Finds himself up into 5th place. So an incredible job from him. And like I say, he just finds a strategy that brings himself back into the race. I think his philosophy is the least amount of pit stops the better. Get it done early and hope for the safety car and take advantage while everyone pits. So seems to work more often than not for him. As there's a 3-second gap between each of those front 4 cars. And Rika's not far off being 3 seconds back from Felix as well. So here comes Arthanciu. Rika trying to break the slipstream. Here he comes. He's not going to be close enough. And let's just have a look at Arthanciu's ERS light. It's not flashing, so he's got some. I wonder if he's just saving it, biding his time. I mean, to be honest, if he does get past Rika, he's got a long way to go to Felix. So he might be thinking, well, let me just line up this overtake and then I'll see if I can progress against Felix, but not going to put himself under too much pressure to go and get that done, because at the end of the day you don't want to throw away everything you've worked for up to this point. So Felix is drawing Bassett in ever so slightly. I think he's taken a couple of seconds out of him probably over the last 2 or 3 laps, so he is reeling him in. Bassett is really struggling to keep up with Kazingel. But Kazingel is also then struggling to keep up with Rishi. I think Rishi's just got a lot of natural pace because they're on the same tyre. But Kazingel, to get himself up to second from, I think he started on in 11th, maybe 12th on the grid. So an incredible strategy. Could be on for another podium. As we've got some more yellow flags. Is that Alex? Alex retires from the session. Why have you retired? Didn't see a crash anywhere. Maybe he did, I don't know. But so far, it's not brought out a safety car, which is good news for the leaders, because they do not want this field getting bunched up. There's only 2 cars on track that have actually got penalties, which is a big surprise. So good driving from everyone. As Arthanciu has made a mistake. Oh man. After doing so well to be right up the back of Rika, it's exactly what I was saying. You can't afford to chuck away positions on this track, because you just will never see the field again. And just, you can see the gap between nearly everyone here. I think RPM and Evan. Is RPM... Oh yeah, Evan has got caught up in the same thing. I wonder if Evan and Arthanciu weren't anywhere near each other. I wonder if as he spun round he's made some contact maybe, but Evans definitely got no wing here, which means he is a sitting duck. He gets off the line, which is good sportsmanship from him. Charlie leaves the session, so don't know if he's crashed or something's happened to him. I've no idea what happened to Alex. It just said retired, so it's not even like he's DNF'd. But there he goes, he leaves the session. And Stuart is on his way back through the grid. He's on the medium tyres, so don't be surprised if we see him pushing on to try and catch Rika at some point. But 7 seconds is a lot to do in 7 laps. But he's a guy that knows how to do it in a race. But Felix is now within a second of Bassett. And very cautious from Stuart there. I wonder if he's had some problems there earlier. Maybe he's just a bit scared to get on the throttle in case, but he seems to be lifting and coasting. I wonder if he's doing a bit of fuel save. Yeah, feels like a fuel save type. If you listen to his engine, you can see him you can hear him just lifting and then coasting through the corner. He's not, yeah, look, he's lifting and coasting, so he's definitely petrol saving. So maybe Cav is only the realistic overtake here. Maybe he's trying to bring his fuel back in line, and then we'll have an attack on Cav. But let's join Felix then, because if Stuart is petrol saving, he is not going to be a threat to Cav right now. So Felix, my man, looking for a back-to-back podium after your win in Portugal. Got the quicker tyre for now, as we've got another McLaren off. It's Arthanshu's DNF'd. Is that going to bring the safety car? It is. Safety car is out, which is horrible for Kazingal. Great timing for Bassett as he was about to find himself under a bit of pressure. Not so good for Rishi as it brings Kazingal that bit closer. Brilliant for Rika. 10-second gap. I mean, if Kazingal was to pit, he might just come back out in 4th. Maybe a little bit further back. 5th at the very worst. So one of these front 3 might not be a bad idea to chuck a tyre change on here. Is anyone going to gamble for softs? Rishi is not. Kazingal's going to keep his positions. I would love to see Bassett come in and chuck some softs on here. Do it, Bassett. He has. Cool, we are going to see a good race. Felix decides to take 3rd place. I think that's a clever move from Bassett. I don't think he's going to come out any further back than 6th or 7th here. So I like that move. Rika also comes in. He's going to be aggressive. Cav is also going to come in. So all of this group behind. Oof, man, those Aston Martins are going to be under some pressure. But Felix, my friend, you are going to have to be the man that becomes the moving roadblock. Because, my friend, you're about to have Stuart behind you on fresh mediums, who can be quite quick at the end of a race. You're then going to have Bassett on softs, who is quick as it is. Huss stayed out on his mediums. Rika came in for softs. So what a strategy from him. Man like Donkey then on mediums, Cav on mediums. Marshmallow, Kalitsos have all come in. For some very strange reason, Sheba's put some intermediates on. I wonder if he comes back round and puts on some softs before the safety car goes back in. No idea, but he doesn't want to be on those tyres. Probably just a menu issue. Sheba with 6 seconds of penalties. Nick Lauda with 3. Kalitsos with 3. So no real talking points in terms of big positions being lost to penalties. So the question is, have these Aston Martin boys made the right choice? And do you know what? The fact that we've got a Red Bull in between them and Stuart means that they are going to be in a great position, because he's going to get blue flags immediately. And he will have to decide how quickly he gets out of the way, because although really he should probably pull over and just let everyone through, we often know that cars out of position don't just want to give up the place, because if they're a little bit quicker than that car behind them, they have every right to try and unlap themselves. But who is it? It's Nicky Lauda. I mean, or is it Man Like Donkey? I think it's going to be Nicky Lauda. Yeah, it is Nicky Lauda. I mean, in any other race, he's got the pace to be up there as well. So it's the right Red Bull to have there if you're Kazingo and Felix. And then Stewart's got to find his way round. Bassett on the soft tyres got to find his way round. Yeah, it's going to be a good finish. 3 out in front with used mediums. Stewart on used mediums. Bassett on fresh softs. Huss on used mediums. Rika on fresh softs. Wonder if there'll be a Mercedes team game going on here. But yeah, this is going to be an amazing sprint to the finish. Rishi's been, although he didn't lead the whole race, I think he's probably been in control. We'll just have a quick look at the championship. I'll give you an update on that since we've got it. So let's have a look at the standings then. So Nicky Lauda's leading the championship, well, joint leaders, him and Bassett. Nicky Lauda is not going to improve here today, so Bassett has got a chance to go to the front of the standings, and he's in on the soft tyres in 5th, so let's watch out for him. Maggot's in 3rd and currently out of the points. Then there's quite a big gap back to Rika, who currently sits in 7th. Then got Felix in 5th place, so maybe we get some team orders from Aston, but can't imagine they're going to take 2nd place off Kazingle for that, but we'll see. Guna in 6th, who is out of the race. Wardy, I haven't seen him here tonight. Not Rishi is in 8th place, and with a win, we'll probably get up to about 6th. Kazingle's in 9th, so with a good result for him, I think he can find himself up into like 7th or 8th. And then 10th is Marshmallow. But that safety car is going to be on its way in. Let's see how this goes. We've got 4 laps of racing. I think 3 laps of racing. Maybe 4. I don't know. Maths is terrible. It's about to flick over into 32. So 3 laps of racing. And there's a bit of rain dropping. Is that why one of them were on Inters? Is he still on Inters? He is. I wonder if that's why there's rain at the end of the race. Ooh, even better. So the softs are going to be in an even better place as Rishi bins out on the last corner. It is wet. They're all sliding. Oh my word. That's Stewart out into the lead of the race. What's going on? What an incredible moment. Rika up into 2nd. And the track does look really, really wet. Wow. So has Shiva pulled off an absolute master plan? Stewart in 1st on medium tyres. That is going to be horrible. Is there a mess a bit further back in the field? Look at them all fighting for places. Who's this? This is Felix around the outside. He's losing places, and look, he's sliding. Who's that? It's a Red Bull. A Red Bull on Inters, and he's out. What is going on? This is carnage. So Stewart's struggling. Oh, I can't keep up with it all. Stewart's struggling out in front. Rika on soft tyres, probably find it better. He's slid, and he's making his way back down. Sheeper on those Inters, making an attack into the chicane. He makes his way up into the lead of the race. He's pushed Stewart out in, and he's got a Red Bull behind him, but the Red Bull is trying to unlap himself. So Sheba, outright lead of the race. What a strategy out of absolutely nowhere. He's got penalties, but the penalties aren't going to matter because the guys behind him cannot keep up. And we just need Nicky Lauda to stay away from Sheba to make sure he doesn't wreck the race. But let's look back. These guys are really struggling. So did anyone get into the pit off the back of the restart? Maggot's been in. Cav, Huss, Bassett have all been in. What a nightmare. That safety car has caused absolute carnage. What a race. Flippin' heck, as you can see that Sheba is already down at turn 1. He's on his own. He's got this race in the bag as long as he keeps it on the track. And the guys on the softs are going to carry on. What are they doing? They're just going to try and hang in there. This is going to be a great race to the finish. But these guys on Inters are not far behind. Bassett back up into third after a pit stop after the safety car. He's just giving Marshmallow a bit of a tap. But get out of the way, Marshmallow. I'm on the quicker tyre. I'm going round, boy. And then Huss looks like he's making a move. Is he on the Inters? He is. So Marshmallow and Kalitsos have had an absolute mare for staying out. I get why they've done it, but it's just not going to work. It's like an ice rink. So Sheba 17 seconds out in the lead. Absolute masterstroke. I wondered why he'd gone on the Inters. He had the weather report. He listened to it and he took the gamble and it's paid off. And Bassett makes his way up into second place. He could be taking the lead of this championship by the end of it. And Huss is looking to try and put a bit of pressure on just to take a few points away from him. Cav up into fourth. This will be an amazing result for him as well. As looks like he just gets a little bit squirty off of that curb. But Maggot finds himself up in fifth. So from absolutely nowhere, Kazingle's out of the race. He went back out on softs. What's going on? Oh man, Kazingle. What is going on? Kalitsos, surely he's not going to come in. He's going to stick it out. Oh man, I wonder if is Marshmallow going to stick it out? Nah, he's going to come in. I mean, Kalitsos has got nothing else to lose. As Stuart makes his way past Kalitsos, where's Rishi? Rishi's in 12th. What's going on? Felix is out of the points. Rika's in 10th. The whole grid's just turned upside down. This is the most mental race I've ever witnessed. But it's brilliant. And Sheba is going to pick up his first win as long as he keeps it on track. And he's got Nicky Lauda trying to follow him. And I'm gutted for Nicky Lauda. If he'd been on the lead lap, he would have been right up here fighting for the win. But what an incredible race. As Bassett's not making any inroads, but I wonder if that's because Huss is just putting a bit of pressure on him. Whew. I need to take a minute here. I can't keep up with all of this. That was absolute gold. And that's Kalitsos is out. That's because he was on the soft tyre. Did think he would struggle to make it to the end. So Rishi may just pick up a point at the end. Oh, wow. What a race. What a last couple of laps. Do you know what? It's so harsh on the drivers that just got it absolutely right. But you've got to make the right call nearly every single time. And if you get it right at the end of the race, you generally come up trumps. And Sheba, my friend, you've pulled off the masterclass. You've got a 6-second penalty. It's not even going to matter because you're 18 seconds down the road. Huss gets a little bit shaky out of turn 1. Just hold on for your podium. Don't push for that second. Just hold on. As Nicky Lauda's going to unlap himself. And he might even pick up a point if he can find someone else to DNF by the end. So fair play for Nicky Lauda for keeping going. But we're not even going to have... Just over half the grid is going to finish the race. Jeez. Well, that last few laps has been thoroughly enjoyable, I must say. But what we are going to do is we're going to join our race leader probably for the first time today. So watch him go over the line 20 seconds ahead of the guy in second. It's been a masterclass from Sheba here today. He's dominated from start to finish. What a man. What a racer. And here he comes for the checkered flag. Sheba wins. And Nicky Lauda will finish because he's just behind. But Bassett, again, makes the right calls at the right time. He didn't get it quite right. But I tell you what, he made up for it because he went in. He was like, no, I'm going for the Inters. And he finds himself on the podium. Well done, Bassett. Good race. And Huss as well makes the right call at the right time. And Cab, fourth. Brilliant race from him. Probably his best result of the season. Congratulations, my friend. Maggot comes over in fifth to keep his championship dreams alive. TGL Stewart fights back for a sixth place after a good start. Evan in seventh on his way around. And look, there's a bit of a queue going on here, but Evan's going to hold out for seventh. Carries on a bit of a streak of points finishing for him. Rika makes it into the points. Felix bitterly disappointed to be ninth, but again just tried something. Wanted to stay out to the end, but the rain was just too heavy, and it's cost him a lot of places in the end. And I tell you what, Rishi will be the man that's absolutely gutted. He was leading the race. He was dominating it until the safety car come out. If the safety car wasn't there, I think the rain still would have come, but he would have had enough time to make a decision and get in the pits and get on those inters. So he's going to be very disappointed. But this man, Sheba, absolutely delighted with that. Wins the race. Not really looked like winning a race most of the season, and here he is picking up his trophy. Congratulations, Sheba. And we'll just quickly run through that grid for you again. So Sheba wins it. Bassett's had a really good race, and again, the one out of the front three really that made the right choice comes in second. Huss third. Cav, great result for you, my friend, comes in fourth. Maggot in fifth. Stewart in sixth. Evan in seventh. Rika in eighth. Felix in ninth. Rishi, a very disappointing 10th. Nicky Lauda in 11th, and the rest of the field did not finish. The rain caused carnage here in Hungary, but what a race we've witnessed. Really great to be part of that. So congratulations, Sheba. Well done to all the drivers. But yeah, enjoyed that one. Ready for next week already. Until then, see you soon.